Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of y'all. I hope y'all are having a great day because I am. I had totally forgot today's Juneteenth, June 19th. Totally forgot about it again until I went to the post office and seen that, it was closed whenever I checked my P.O. box. And it says, we're closed because national holiday. So I decided to go and investigate the true history of Juneteenth and how everybody didn't know about it until recently. So here's my Substack. All right, let me share it. Let me make sure I'm sharing and not having a black screen. Okay, we're doing good. All right, now let me get back over here so I can read. It says the true history of Juneteenth, a conservative's perspective. Juneteenth, observed every June 19th, stands as a pivotal moment in American history, marking the day in 1865 when Union General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas to declare the freedom of all enslaved people over 2 years after President Abraham Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation. Now everything in red is a hyperlink. All you gotta do is just click on it and you can open it up. For conservatives, Juneteenth is not just a celebration of liberty, but a testament to the principles of freedom that have long defined the Republican Party. Yet this historic day remained in the shadows for most Americans until recently. Thrust into the spotlight during President Donald Trump's tenure, this story explores why Juneteenth was overlooked until Trump became POTUS, how the Uniparty exploited it to attack him, and why so many Americans were unaware of it. It also uncovers the Democrat Party's historical resistance to emancipation, the Republican Party's legacy as a champion of freedom, and the NRA's role in empowering Black communities with gun safety training. Why Juneteenth wasn't celebrated until Trump became POTUS. Juneteenth has been celebrated by Black communities since the late 19th century, beginning in Texas and spreading gradually across the nation. However, it never achieved widespread national recognition until it became a federal holiday in 2021, a development that coincided with President Donald Trump. Well, it was Donald Trump's political prominence. Before Trump's presidency, Juneteenth lingered as a regional tradition, overshadowed by holidays like Independence Day and neglected by a broader cultural hesitant to grapple with slavery's legacy. It was during Trump's time as POTUS that Juneteenth gained unprecedented attention, not because he initiated its celebration, but because of a political firestorm that elevated its profile. In June 2020, Trump scheduled a campaign rally in Tulsa, Oklahoma. On Juneteenth, a date and location that ignited controversy due to Tulsa's history as the site of the 1921 race massacre. Critics pounced, accusing Trump of insensitivity, and the backlash forced him to reschedule the rally. Yet Trump later argued, I did something good. I made Juneteenth very famous. Nobody had ever heard of it, which basically is true. While Black communities had long honored the day, Trump's claim holds a kernel of truth for the broader public. Trump's presidency inadvertently spotlighted Juneteenth, paving the way for its federal recognition under President Biden in 2021. Until then, the holiday's obscurity reflected a failure to prioritize this chapter of American freedom. How the Uniparty weaponized Juneteenth against Trump. The term Uniparty refers to the alliance between establishment career Democrats and Republicans who often fight against each other in front of the TV cameras. Then once behind closed and locked doors, they make shady deals that profit themselves. not the citizens they were elected to represent, and work against outsiders like President Trump. I didn't put president in there. In 2020, the Uniparty saw Trump's Tulsa rally as a golden opportunity to smear him. Scheduling a rally on Juneteenth in a city scarred by racial violence was framed as a deliberate affront to Black Americans. Despite Trump's insistence that the date was just coincidental, Democrats and their media allies led the charge, while establishment Republicans either remained silent or joined in on the criticism, amplifying the narrative of Trump's supposed insensitivity. This weaponization turned Juneteenth into a political battering ram, overshadowing its historical significance with partisan agendas rather than fostering a unified celebration of emancipation. The Uniparty exploited the day to score political points against Trump, proving once again their willingness to manipulate history for power. For conservatives, this episode underscores how the left and their enablers twist even moments of triumph into tools for division. Why most Americans hadn't heard of Juneteenth until recently. I mean, I paid attention in history class and civics class, and I'd never heard of Juneteenth. But for decades, Juneteenth remained a well-kept secret outside Black communities. A 2020 survey revealed that nearly half of Americans and even a third of Black Americans only learned of Juneteenth that year. This ignorance stems from multiple causes. Public education often skims over the gritty details of slavery's end, favoring broader Civil War narratives over specific events like Juneteenth. Additionally, without federal recognition, I didn't capitalize federal, until 2021, the holiday lacked the institutional backing to permeate national consciousness. Its regional roots in Texas further limited its reach until recent cultural shifts and political events, like Trump's rally controversy, catapulted Juneteenth into the mainstream. Conservatives might argue this obscurity reflects a deliberate downplaying of a victory tied to Republican leadership, Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation, and the Union's triumph. Only when it became politically expedient did the establishment embrace Juneteenth, revealing a long-standing neglect of America's full history. The Democrat Party's rejection of emancipation. The Democrat Party's historical record on slavery is a stain conservatives must highlight. In the 19th century, Democrats, especially in the South, were the party of slavery, fiercely defending the institution against abolitionist pressures. When Lincoln, a Republican, issued the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863, Southern Democrats ignored it, clinging to their slaves until Union forces, culminating in Granger's 1865 announcement, enforced freedom. This wasn't mere oversight. It was a calculated defiance rooted in economic greed and racial ideology. Post-war Democrats doubled down, opposing recognition or reconstruction efforts Post-Civil War Democrats doubled down, opposing Reconstruction efforts to secure Black rights. Their legacy of resistance continued through the Jim Crow era, cementing a pattern of denying freedom to those they once enslaved. This history starkly contrasts with the modern Democrat narrative, exposing a hypocrisy conservatives are duty-bound to call out. The Republican Party and the true party of freedom. From its founding in 1854 as an anti-slavery coalition, the Republican Party has been the standard bearer of liberty. Abraham Lincoln's election in 1860 sparked the Civil War, a fight Republicans waged to end slavery. The Emancipation Proclamation and the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments abolishing slavery, granting citizenship, and securing voting rights were Republican triumphs, passed over fierce Democrat opposition. During Reconstruction, the first Black members of Congress, including trailblazers like Hiram Revels and Blanche K. Bruce, were all Republicans, embodying the party's commitment to equality under law. This legacy of freedom extended into the 20th century, though the party's focus shifted over time from conservatives. The GOP's early record is a point of pride, a reminder that Republicans, not Democrats, were the architects of emancipation and civil rights for Black Americans. Democrats vote against freedoms and rights. The Democrat Party's opposition to Black freedom is well documented. Southern Democrats in Congress voted overwhelmingly against the 13th Amendment, abolishing slavery, the 14th Amendment, granting citizenship, the 15th Amendment, securing voting rights. After the Civil War, they unleashed terror through groups like the Ku Klux Klan to suppress Black voters and Republican governance. Into the 20th century, Democrats filibustered anti-lynching laws and resisted civil rights advancements, only pivoting in the 1960s under political pressure. This consistent track record of denying human rights stands in sharp relief to their modern posturing. Conservatives see this as proof that the Democrat Party's historical sins cannot be erased by contemporary rhetoric. Many argue Democrats' Party of Freedom claim is hypocritical, giving their pro-slavery and Jim Crow history. They point out that the 1960s realignment was pragmatic, not principled. It was driven by electoral necessity as Black voters became a key bloc. I should have put in key voting bloc, but I just put bloc. I'm sorry. Republicans, meanwhile, argue they've inherited Lincoln's legacy of individual liberty and freedom for all. The NRA's role in empowering Black communities. The National Rifle Association has a nuanced history with Black Americans, often overlooked in partisan debates. While the NRA backed the 1960 Mulford Act in California, now this was about the Black Panthers, in response to the armed Black Panthers, because they were abusing their Second Amendment right. They were being intimidating with their weapons instead of just personal. You know what I'm talking about. A response to armed Black Panthers. It also supported gun rights as a means of self-defense for all, including Black communities. In the South, where racial violence was rampant, the NRA provided training and resources, enabling Black Americans to protect themselves against threats like the Klan. This aligns with the conservative belief in the Second Amendment as a universal right, empowering individuals to safeguard their freedom. For conservatives, the NRA's efforts reflect a practical extension of Republican principles, liberty and self-reliance offered to those historically denied both. Juneteenth is more than a holiday. It's a testament to America's journey toward freedom, a journey led by Republicans and resisted by Democrats for over a century. Its emergence from obscurity during Trump's presidency, though marred by uniparty attacks, offers conservatives a chance to reclaim this history. From Lincoln's proclamation to the NRA's training, the conservative version or the conservative vision of liberty shines through Juneteenth's story. As we honor this day, let's ensure its true meaning. Freedom won through struggle is neither forgotten nor twisted by those who once opposed it. All right, that's it on this one, y'all. And the sharing, let's see, we're at 15 minutes again. I'm hitting my timing mark pretty good. Although I would really get a kick out of it if I could end at 17 minutes every time. I need to start proofreading my posts more, because I'm finding little mistakes when I read them into the videos, and by then it's just too late to just stop and then go make that one little correction and whatever. Y'all get the gist of what I've been talking about, and now you know the true history of Juneteenth and why nobody heard about it until President Trump scheduled a political rally in Tulsa, Oklahoma on June 19th out of just pure coincidence. But hey, it brought attention to Juneteenth, which is finally the end of Democrats holding black slaves. We finally freed all the slaves from the Democrats on June 19th. Back then in 1854, was it? 1854. Yeah, 1854 it was. So, well, I'm going to call it. I'm going to give it a few more seconds, and I'm going to end it right at 17 minutes. That way I can feel good about it. Anyways, y'all have a great and blessed day. Thank you to all my paid subscribers. I offer this for free, but thank you anyways. Bye-bye.